for the repository used to work in was a military barracks, and people were getting sick all the time. There was workers here from the lab were living here. Four got sick, two died. But what did they die of? Oh, they said food poisoning. Oh, yes. But foam was coming out of their mouth.
Silverman later learned that these experiments were ordered by military authorities in Washington.
I used to work with people in my university that had connections with the lab. One was on the Ministry of Economic Development. They were telling me how this project started, the U.S. Navy fact-checking the biological labs.
When Silverman discovered who was behind the lab and its secret experiments had already caused many casualties, he publicly called for an immediate end to military agreements between Georgia and the U.S.
This program was not an agreement between Georgia and the United States. It was a one-sided imposition. They said, you will do this. It was like precaution.
Shortly after these statements, all major U.S. and European news agencies stopped working with Silverman, and President Saakashvili's administration sacked him as well.
I wrote some articles. I published them in local media. I gave interviews to Georgia newspapers, and actually everybody jumped on me. The embassy wrote in their reports, in the press releases, Mr. Silverman is not to be trusted. The veracity, the truthfulness of his information is in question.
Despite the backlash, he continued investigating. Those who didn't want the U.S. journalist to go public with his discoveries reacted soon enough.
As a result of this, I've been kidnapped off the street. And if you look at the Lugar Lab, is basically the flagship, the crown jewel of a network of laboratories and smaller labs in Armenia, Azerbaijan, Central Asia, Africa.
Vladimir, a local, revealed what is concealed behind the high walls of the biocenter.
Мой сосед рядом на моей площадке, он всегда сдавал свою квартиру наемникам. В последнее время он сдал вот этих филиппинцам. 2-3 раза меня вызывали, они английский немножко разговаривали, тут я переводил. Если последний вызов был, я как сегодня помню, это 1:30 где-то ночью. Я вхожу туда, комнаты там между кровати, один бедный уже скончался, валяется там на полу, груди, все, рот это все покрыто пеной, другой в очень плохом состоянии. Ну, потом выяснилось, что и второй тоже бедный скончался.
U.S. journalist Esha Krishnaswamy has launched an investigation into Pentagon laboratories around the world. She obtained sensational U.S. government documents proving the existence of a network of biolabs in Ukraine, similar to Georgia's Lugar Center.
The United States State Department had a press release that is no longer there, but we did archive this. It said that there were peaceful biological laboratories in Ukraine. To me, it's kind of strange that they put the word peaceful as if they were trying to deny something. Normally, you do not expect normal biological laboratories to be not peaceful.
Journalist John Dubin visited one such laboratory.
It was very safe the way it's stored. Clinical trials. Basically, they were performing clinical trials on unsuspecting people here.
He launched an investigation shortly after the U.S. government, once again, denied its laboratories existed in Ukraine. On March the 10th, 2022, Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby made a special statement on the matter.
We are not developing biological or chemical weapons inside Ukraine. It's not happening. Now people are starting to realize how disingenuous and untruthful the United States has been with a lot of these biological labs that have been in Ukraine. They've been getting a lot of coverage. There is, now I do have one eyewitness account there was a laboratory, a biological laboratory, maybe Kharkiv. Do you remember I told you that I have a whistleblower in Kharkiv? And this whistleblower is the one that gave me a bunch of documents. It's interesting that he sends me this document here, Institute of Veterinary Medicine of the National Academy of Agrarian Sciences, donor, Department of Defense of the United States of America, beneficiary, the State Committee of Veterinary Medicine of Ukraine.
The connection between the arrival of U.S. biolab specialists and bizarre outbreaks of diseases that have been sweeping Ukraine is what journalists are most curious about.
В Україні офіційно оголосили епідемію грипу. Під поріг перевищено у 18 областях.
Африканська чума свині знову на Сумщині.
Холера в украинском Николаеве. Новые случаи ботулизма.
У меня мой сын в конце 2013 года заболел, и весь январь 2014 года он пролежал сначала 9 дней в реанимации, потом в пульмонологии, потому что у него как раз была какая-то странная, нетипичная пневмония. Ребенок начал терять сознание, оказалось, что вот у него очень быстро и стремительно она развивается, не так, как обычная, да, пневмония. У него образовался абсцесс легкого, делали 2 прокола. В общем, это было очень страшно.
Alexei decided to look into the weird strain that almost killed his child and hundreds of other Odessa residents, where, since 2010, US scientists have been secretly experimenting at a former Soviet anti-plague institute.
Мы, как общественники, естественно, не обладаем доступом к финансовым документам различных биологических лабораторий. Однако из той информации, которая распространена в открытых источниках, то есть конкретно на реконструкцию Одесского противочумного института, было потрачено $3 493 000 долларов.
The facility is currently the only one in Ukraine enjoying biosafety level 3 status. A fact corroborated by John Dugan, who assisted Alexei Albu's investigations.
But he tells me that they are cleaning their website, and he sends me some documents here, and this document here, and he sends me the original links for them. You can see right here, Ukrainian Research Anti-Plague Institute, okay, located, this one's in Odessa. The donor, Department of Defense of the United States. The beneficiary